Yep, it's old school Excitebike, and you may be wondering, why am I watching this right now? Well, as you may already know, Mario Kart 8 is getting some new tracks in the form of DLC, and one of those tracks is actually based on Excitebike. And I'll put an image of it up on the screen right now. Now, this is the only image we have of this track, so as you can see, there's really not much to know about it. I mean, we can see it takes place in this stadium, like the original game. There's a giant hill there, and then as I point out in the analysis, there's a turn right before it, and then a turn right after it. Beyond that, there's really not much else to go off of. Though we did give some ideas in our analysis, which I'll talk about coming up here. But I thought it would be fun to go back and look at the original game and see what inspiration they may be taking from it and incorporating into the new track. So let's go ahead and just hop into a race here. We'll do track 1 for now, and that way, if you haven't played the game in a while or haven't played it at all, it'll give you some idea of what this game was all about. So here my little racer is. You can do wheelies anytime you want, which is nice. You can also, there's gas and then there's boost, which causes your temperature gauge to go up. And you can overheat. And if you overheat, you have to pull over and wait for your engine to drop down. Now there is another way to cool down your engine though, besides just letting off the boost, and that is hitting the arrow just up there. So watch the temperature gauge at the bottom of the screen. Okay, I screwed it up. Awesome. No, there should be another one coming up pretty soon. There it is. So just drop my temperature gauge. Now, as you can probably already tell without me even telling you, a big part of these tracks, and by a big part I mean basically the entire game, are the jumps. And there are all kinds of different jumps in this game. And they come in all kinds of different arrangements. And one of the big things is how you take those jumps, or more specifically, how you land those jumps. So when you're in the air, you can actually tilt your bike back and forth to make it even with the ground. If you don't make it even, you wipe out completely like that. Or you just slow down, which I'll show you here. So here's a subpar landing. So it worked, but it slowed me down. But if you nail it, not like that, you maintain your speed. You just get extra distance in the air. So yeah, this is a big part of the original game. It's all about finding, finding the right angle to come in at, avoiding those dirt patches right there, and yeah, just generally, racing well, obviously. So let me go and hop into another track here. As the game even recommends, try the next track. Alright, that's not a bad idea, game. We will do that. Wait, this is actually a different track? I'm not sure. This actually might be the same track. Yeah, I think it's the same track. And I just got wiped out by a biker. I do like the cameraman on the side, so maybe we'll see some Lakitu cameramen, or rather Toad cameramen, in Mario Kart 8 on the side. I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be a cool little throwback too. I can't exit this track. Well, that's okay. It'll give us a sec to better appreciate it. Now, I'm gonna try actually racing well. Okay, now that dirt patch right there, will slow you down, obviously. And I can see that definitely being a part of the new tracks. With you, either coming in the form of a dirt patch, or maybe in the form of an oil slick, like in the retro GBA track. That is a really obnoxious sound. So, I mean, as you can tell, a big part is, this game is, again, about the hills and about speed. And, the boost mechanic is a big thing about this game. Now, Mario Kart 8 doesn't have a built-in boost mechanic. Instead, what it has are, items that speed you up, like mushrooms and stars, as well as speed boosters on the ground. So what I think they could do is replace these, the cooldown arrows with boost pad arrows. I think it's a very strong possibility, especially because it is such a big factor in this game, in, building up speed and maintaining that speed. Especially with, trying to land jumps right. Alright, so let's get into a different track here, come on. Okay, here we go. Maybe it was a different track, I'm not entirely sure. It looked very similar, though. So I'm just cruising right now. And here we go, here's some different hills. So you can see how important it is to land those. It just slows it down so much. And overheated again, awesome. Now Mario Kart 8 doesn't have doesn't really have a tilt mechanic like this does, so it really is going to have to be dependent more on speed, and that's why I think the arrows will play a part, speed boosters rather. Off-road to play a part, as we already saw in the analysis. There's a strip of grass alongside the hill, and you can actually boost along it, it looks like, as a shortcut to avoid the hill entirely. But if you screw up and accidentally go on the grass otherwise, you're going to go really slow. Now, the hill we saw on Mario Kart 8 isn't huge. And, you know, unlike the hill here, that first hill there, it looks more like this size, you know, this one I just took right there. So I don't know if that's going to be the case for the entire track, but, you know, I think they're still going to depend a lot on your entry speed. It's going to depend on a lot of your entry angle, and they might play with that by having different, you know, coins and iron boxes in different areas. And as we saw in the, actually, I'll say that for a sec here. Okay, so you have a pretty good idea of how this track plays. Okay, you get, or rather how Excitebike original plays. There's not a ton to it, but it is, you know, it's a fun little game. Especially back in the day, you know, there's not a ton of depth these days. But I got a little surprise for you. We're not actually playing the original Excitebike. I mean, we are right now, but check this out. We're playing Excitebike 64. And what is awesome about this game is it was, you know, Excitebike in 3D. And one of the things it did was actually rebuild the entire original track, the first track we just played, in 3D in this new game engine. So let's go ahead and check it out here. And this actually might give us a better idea of how it might play in Mario Kart, just because it is, you know, in 3D and a little bit more similar. You know, it's not going to be exact at all, but it gives a better idea of how it will look, you know, with behind the camera. Even though we can't change the camera to the classic angle, but we'll play with the behind here. And this will really give us a better idea of what we might expect from the track itself in Mario Kart 8. So we can see this little bump here we have to do a wheelie over. I screwed up. So what I think they might do for those bumps in Mario Kart 8 is I think there's a good chance they'll exist, but they'll exist instead as little stunt bumps, like in Mount Wario. So here's a jump, come in for the landing. I think that landing was not great. I mean, it was okay, but you actually want to land on the downhill slopes if you can. Now, what else is cool about the 3D version of this game is if you tap Z, the boost at the top of the jump here. I'll try to do it here. I didn't get it. Hold on here. Got it. So if you tap Z at the top, the boost at the top of a jump, you actually get some extra hang time. It gives you a speed boost basically, which is very similar to Mario Kart 8's stunt mechanic. So that's something they could kind of carry over, basically making stunts a big part, you know, of these ramps. And as we see in the Mario Kart 8 track, oh crap, this fell off. They do have the multi-tiered hills. At least, you know, that we see one hill there that's 2 tiers, just like this actually. And that means, you know, performing a stunt off the first tier might potentially, you know, greatly affect how you take the second part of that hill. So it might make, you know, stunts in a really important part of the course. You know, maybe missing the stunt will really screw you up on those hills. So that could be a really neat way of bringing this mechanic into that game, and also just really helping introduce the, you know, the speed mechanic, or, you know, the entry speed thing into the Mario Kart 8 track. So I'm not doing well right now. I'm not playing this game great while talking. Really well. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna land downhill. That was okay. You can really get some massive hang time. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let me do that one more time, and let me just concentrate on doing well, because it is pretty epic getting the amount of airtime you can. And I'm playing as Sarah Sugar Hill. She was always my favorite for some reason. This game is really fun, by the way. This game is great, and I love that they're basing a track, not on this one specifically, but on Excitebike in general. But again, this might give us some idea of what they'll do. Come on. Yeah, I just wiped that guy out by running into his rear wheel. Or by running into his front wheel, sorry, with my rear wheel. Now, do you see these little bumps here too? I think there's a good chance those will appear in Mario Kart 8 too. Not those ones right there, but the small little bunny hills. Especially with being able to, again, perform multiple jumps. Oh, here we go! Oh, come on! Look at this! Yes! Yes! Oh, I held back too far. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of the crazy amount of airtime you can get. I don't think Mario Kart 8 will do anything quite that insane. It's possible, but I don't think they will. Although it would be kind of nuts if they had a flying section like that, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get out of here. But I have one more surprise for you guys. One more kind of crazy thing because I'm nuts. So this game actually has a track creator. And I actually recreated what we could see of the Excitebike track of Mario Kart 8 in this game, as well as built some things in it on, you know, based on what I think they could do. So let's go ahead and load it up here from my handy dandy controller pack. It's called Mario Kart right there. And here we go. So the first thing you'll see is I built it as a square, and that's because as I theorized in the analysis, you know, we can see it takes place in a stadium, just like as it does here. Let me go and load it up here. In fact, test track. We'll test it out. We can see it takes place in a stadium, much like this one right here. And in the picture, we can see the track is adhering to the perimeter of the stadium. So I thought it's possible that the track may be either a square or a rectangle, and so I built this track based around that idea. So here we go. Now, in every picture of every new DLC track, for the most part, in Mario Kart 8, most of the pictures are taken at the starting line. Now, in Excitebike, we actually don't see the starting line, but I have an idea it still might be near the start, which means I put the starting line for this track right before the very first turn we see in that picture, which you can just barely see at the bottom there. You know, when you turn that corner, that's where the hill is. That's where this first hill is, which is from the picture, and I built it as similar as I could with the two tiers. So let's go ahead and head over the hills. There we go, and then up here, up to the right here, on the, that on the right is where you would see the Excitebike racer doing the wheelie as in the picture, and then this corner is that corner right afterward. Now this is everything past this point is everything I made up. So again, it's adhering to the perimeter. It's a square. It has some bunny hills here to show how I might play. You know, and then I added a couple of hills here. Oops, and I went outside bounds, which is actually a big part of Excitebike 3D, and again, the original Excitebike in some sense. And then here we are back at the starting line. So let's go ahead and do it again. Again, here's the first turn from the picture. Here's a hill from the picture. And then here's that second turn from the picture. And here's the bunny hills I added, which you can do stunts off of, potentially Mario Kart 8. Another turn. Here's some bigger hills I added. One more turn. And back at the finish line. So it's possible it's gonna be a shorter track in Mario Kart 8. Kind of like, you know, like a little bit like a baby park type level. And it's possibly if that is the case, it might give it more laps. Kind of like you know, baby park in Mario Kart Double Dash. Or even Mario Kart DS. So now there is some other idea I have here, and that is a big part of some of the tracks in Excitebike 3 in Excitebike 64, because you know, in the original Excitebike there were no turns at all, but this game obviously has turns, and so does Mario Kart 8. And a big part of this game was being able to cut across corners. Like, let's see if I can do it. Not here. At the next set of jumps. Oops! Oh god. Oh, I made it. So I think that could be a possibility in Mario Kart 8, being able to cut those corners, you know, perhaps using stunts to help with it, at the potential expense of landing outside the bound of the course, which of course would cause Lackady to come and get you and reset you. So I think there's a lot of potential here, really making it more of a you know, a stadium type feel, adding all these kinds of hills and different terrain types really, and lending it a crazier type of feel, especially if it is on the shorter side. So let's go ahead and actually go into a full race here, just for fun. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Ooh, said it amateur. And here we are with 6 racers instead of 12, half the amount of Mario Kart 8. Oh, I also have it set to HD right now, so that's why it's squished. I wish I hadn't set the option on. Okay, I'm already off to a terrible start. Back up, jeez! So in Mario Kart 8, it looks like the walls, as I mentioned, may not be that close. There will be, it looks like there will be grass on either side of the hills, or maybe even the entire track. You'll be able to race on. And it potentially might also make you, help you cut those corners even tighter even. Well, I'm doing terrible right now. I'm getting my butt kicked. I'm actually usually pretty good at this game, but not now. And a big part about this game, this track is not made for speed, and definitely do need to slow down with these corners. There we go, got the hill boost. And my name is Sugar Hill, so... Now, as I mentioned before, they could add, you know, some hazards in Mario Kart 8. Again, being either dirt patches from the original game, or, you know, oil slicks from, you know, the GBA course. I think oil slicks might be a little bit weird on a dirt-type course, so it may just be, they could do, like, mud piles or something. Man, I am getting wiped out here. And you can see the map there in the corner, showing the rectangle, you know, showing the square. And you can really see how short these laps would be, if this is similar to Mario Kart 8. All right, third place. All right, I got halfway in the pack. Not terrible. So before we finish off here, let's go ahead and do one more thing. Let's go ahead and load the track up in the editor one more time. I realize this whole thing is kind of crazy, but it's fun, you know, seeing what they might do. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Okay, so again, you know, this is the starting line where I theorized it might be. Here's the first turn. Here's a hill we see in the picture, and again the corner right after, and right below here is where you would see the Excitebike racer. So what I want, let's go ahead and play around in the section of the track where we don't know what's going to happen for sure, and let's go ahead and just delete this entirely. So what I want to show you is, what's cool is in this editor is you can actually add custom pieces that you create the hills of yourself. Alright, and for whatever reason, this game is displaying, there's like a glitch happening right now where that thing down there is supposed to be appearing on the track piece itself, the little grid there. I don't know what it's doing. Doesn't matter, we don't need it. So what I want to show you though is just creating a bigger type of hill to give you some idea of what we might be able to expect in a track in you know, in the track in Mario Kart 8. Oops. Okay. That should be pretty good. So I think we can make it even bigger than... Actually, yeah, that's about as big as we can make it, I think. Alright, so... There we go. Okay. We add that. And then let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's add a second one. Sure, why not? Or actually, let's go ahead, you know, let's modify this one a little bit. Oops. Hold on here. Here we go. Alright, let's... Don't add it yet. Right, I want to add a steep downhill section I want to try and land on. Might be a little bit tricky. It might not be. It probably won't work with our current setup, but actually, there we go. That's kind of what I'm going for. Okay, let's go and test this bad boy. Oops. Oh, is that what? Yep. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, cool. All right, and doesn't matter if we're missing a piece there. Oh, that's right. I can move the entire track around, which is nice. All right. So yeah, this editor is actually pretty robust. For its time especially. Actually, let's go ahead and add a piece there. There we go. Track's complete. Okay, let's go and test the track out. So again, first corner, there is a jump we see in the picture. It looks like there's iron boxes in there in the final game, by the way. Alright, here's those bunny hills I added. Now, coming up here is our real turn, or the real turn, the jumps I added. Wow, that is not working at all like I expected it to. Man, that is a steep hill. All right, let's try that again. Actually, let's take it backwards. Maybe that'll work better. Oh, that's okay. That's kind of what I wanted. So landing on the downhill segment of the other hill. So, I mean, I just want to give you some idea what they could do with the, you know, with the hills in Mario Kart 8. They can make them way bigger. And basically make it, if you don't have enough speed going up it, you're screwed. Like, you just get stuck on that hill. Or, you know, where it slows it down a lot. I think it could be really interesting. There's a lot of potential there. And I'm really just spitballing at this point. But you know, they could add you know, all kind of zigzags if they want to. I'm just guessing the track's square. It may not be. And in case it's not, you know, for the heck of it, let's take a look at one of the tracks from the game. You know, and show you how they constructed them in this game. So let's go to exhibition race. Yeah, let's go to Kyoto. That's where Nintendo's based. That's actually perfect. Wow, this was meant to be. It's almost like I planned that. I honestly did not. Alright, so here we are in Kyoto, and oh, actually, this track is a square too. Oh, that kind of works out, because you can actually see another track design based on a square. This one, though, is going in the opposite direction, it looks like. Counterclockwise instead of clockwise. But either way, it'll give you an idea of what they could do hill-wise, you know, in Mario Kart 8. This setup is definitely drastically different than I have in the custom track I showed you. So here's a pretty steep hill here. Wow, whoa, whoa, alright. So yeah, it really gives you some idea of just how crazy they could make this track, or how different feeling they could make this track by being based on Excitebike. Even in just a square formation. Which I think actually would be pretty true to the original game. Because that game was all about straightaways. It makes sense to have a bunch of straightaways in Mario Kart 8, but you know, who knows. Alright, so you got a feel for this course. Let's go and find one with actual corners. I like that just kidding on the pause menu. Alright. No, I'm just kidding, I don't actually want to quit. Alright, let's go to... Let's see. Oh, let's go to Seattle, actually, which is where Nintendo of America is based. This almost works out too well! I mean, technically they're based out of Redmond, Washington, but it's, you know, everyone says Seattle. It's close to Seattle. And this track is actually pretty nuts, as I remember. And you can, yeah, you can actually see it on the map there. Yep, there's a pretty big, you know, the track basically splits into two here. Got a bunch of hills right there. I totally took that corner wrong, jeez, and I landed out off course. There was we crossed part of the track there, kind of like some tracks, or right there actually, kind of like how some tracks in Mario Kart have done before. I don't know if Mario Kart 8 does. Oh, yeah, like Royal Raceway does that actually, at the jump. So that's something they could do here too. I mean, there is so much potential they could do. It really is exciting. But if I had to choose, I think they might go with a square motif. There is a cool part coming up in this track too. And if I remember correctly, and I may not. Oh, I do, yep, and we actually head outside here. Here we are, and that's something they could do here too. I mean, it is an open-air stadium in Mario Kart 8. Maybe you'll actually go outside the stadium. I don't think you will. But, you know, the ideas really are endless, because we only see such a small part of that track. Yep, and that is the whole lap. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's my ideas for what they could do in Mario Kart 8. I know this video was a little bit unusual, a little bit, you know, fun, silly, whatever you want to call it. But hopefully it gave you some ideas of what they could do in Mario Kart 8. You know, it shows you how the original game played and how it played when they updated for 3D. And it might give us, you know, some idea of what to expect for the new DLC. I'm just excited to see what they'll show off. We probably don't have long to wait. The DLC's out in just about a month. And I have a feeling they'll be showing off before then too. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for more Mario Kart 8 and other things gaming as well. Alright, bye.